So now we will see 2D transform property in CSS. So guys, basically the CSS transform allows you to move, rotate, scale and skew the HTML elements that we define inside our web page, and this we are going to check with the help of multiple examples over here. So guys, before moving towards the examples, let us understand the basic of the x-axis and the y-axis. That is going to be very important when you are going to use this transform property values. So guys, over here, if you have already learned about the x-axis and y-axis previously in your mathematics class, basically we have the x-axis in the horizontal direction over here. So basically we have the x-axis in this way. So this is the horizontal line that you can see, which is x-axis over here. Simply we are going to provide the text box that is x-axis in this case. So guys, basically we can move the HTML elements in this particular direction. When we provide the value as a positive value, then the element will move towards the right in this case on the x-axis, and when we provide the value as negative, then the HTML element moves towards the left of the x-axis over here. Now guys, similarly we have the y-axis as well, which is displayed in the vertical direction. So let us provide the y-axis as well. So over here we have the y-axis in the vertical direction in this case. So guys, basically this is the y-axis. Now guys, it is very important to note that during our mathematics class we were told that the positive y-axis is on the top over here and the positive x-axis is on the right hand side. So this is the first quadrant, and then followed by this is the second quadrant, in which case the x-axis have the negative values and the y-axis have the positive values. But guys, when we deal with the web browser, what happens is our web browser is present inside this fourth quadrant over here. So what will happen is when we provide the positive x-axis number, the HTML element should move towards the right, but when we provide the y-axis as the positive number, then the HTML element should move down in this case. So guys, basically this is the screen over here. So I'll simply draw the screen as well in this case. So this is the screen that we will be dealing with in our examples. So guys, now let us move to the different values that we can provide to the transform property. So over here, the first value that we can provide is the translate, which will help us in order to move an element to the specified position. So guys, over here we can say that the translate is a function which will take parameters over here. That is, the first parameter will be the x-axis, that is the length unit you have to provide in order to move the element towards the x-axis over here. If it is positive, then the element will move towards the right direction, and if the value is negative, then the HTML element will move towards the left direction. So guys, let us check this with the help of examples in VS Code over here. So simply I'm going to remove the previous lines of code that we had written in the HTML and the style.css files. Now guys, over here what we are going to do is simply we will have the div tag, and it is going to have a specific width and height over here. So simply we are going to say width of, let's say, 100 pixels this time, and then the height as well of 100 pixels. Guys, apart from this, let us have certain border as well. So let's say we have the border of 2 pixels, and with border style as solid, and the color is black color in this case, and apart from this we will also have the background color of yellow. So guys, over here we have a simple div tag, and then guys, apart from this, let us have the div tag at the center of the screen over here. So right now the div tag is at the top left. What we want is we want to get the div tag somewhere over here at the center of the screen. So what we can do is simply we can provide the margin, and we can say auto. So basically this is going to provide the automatic margin from the left and right, and simply let's say we provide the 10% for the top and the bottom margin as well. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page. So from the left and right we have the equal margin with the help of this auto value, and from the top we are providing the 10% margin over here. So it is somewhat at the middle of the screen. Let us increase this percentage to 15%. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page. So as you can see, we have the div element at the center of the screen. Now guys, let us check the first example, that is the translate function inside the transform property. So guys, what we will do is over here we are going to have the hover effect for this particular div element. So simply simply we are going to say div followed by colon, and then we have this pseudo class that is hover. So guys, what exactly we are going to do is when the user is going to get the cursor on this particular div tag, then we are going to see the different transform property values that we are going to define. So first of all, we will see how this translate works, which means it moves an element to the specified position. So guys, let us check this. So over here, what we have to do is simply we have to use the transform CSS property, and as you can see, there are multiple methods that you can use. These are nothing but the CSS functions that can be used over here, and based on the project requirements, you can use your own functions that are listed over here. So the first function is the translate function, which will take two parameters. The first parameter is the x-axis. So let's say we want to move the HTML element by 20 pixels on the right hand side. So simply we can provide the value as 20 pixels. So in this case, what will happen is when we get the cursor over here on the div tag, this particular square box should move to the right hand side by 20 pixels that we have defined over here. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. Notice that this is the original position of the div tag, and the moment we get the cursor on this div tag, as you can see, it has moved to the right hand side. So if you see, when we get the cursor back, it is going back to the original position over here. So guys, in this way the translate property works. Basically, since we have only provided the value for the x-axis, that is why it is just moving on the right hand side. If we want to get this particular div tag down as well, so we will be providing the length unit for the second parameter as well. So after this, we need to provide a comma, and let's say we provide 50 pixels. So by 50 pixels, the div tag should come down from the center of the screen. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So when we get the cursor on this particular div tag, as you can see, it is coming down as well. So by 50 pixels, the div tag is coming down over here. So guys, in this way you can use the translate function inside the transform CSS property in order to move a particular HTML element to the specified position over here. Guys, apart from this, we also have something called as rotate, which rotates an element clockwise or counterclockwise according to the given degree. So guys, let us check this as well with the help of example. So over here, instead of translate, what we are going to do is on hover of this particular div tag, simply we are going to use the rotate function over here. And then guys, what it is expecting is, it is expecting the angle in terms of degree. So let's say we have 20 degrees over here, by which this particular HTML element, that is the div tag, which is a square box, should rotate, and it will rotate in the clockwise direction by default. So guys, let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So when the user gets the cursor on this particular box, as you can see, it has rotated on the right with the help of the 20 degrees that we had provided inside the rotate function. So guys, in this way the rotate function works over here. Let us increase the angle as well. So if we increase it by 45 degree, let me just save this file now and try reloading this page. So as you can see, it is rotating by 45 degrees over here in the clockwise direction. Guys, we can also change the direction, that is we can rotate it in the counterclockwise direction as well. So what we have to do is, instead of having the positive number, we should have the negative number and provide the angle. So let's say this time we provide negative 20 degrees. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page. So if you notice, it is now rotating itself in the counterclockwise direction over here with the help of the negative angle that we have provided. Guys, apart from this, we also have something called as scale function, which increases or decreases the size of an element. So guys, let us check this as well. So again, inside the hover pseudo class over here, we have to use the scale function in this case. So guys, basically this is the function that we are going to use, and simply we need to provide the number by which we want to increase the width and height of this particular HTML element. So guys, simply if we provide 1,1, so over here there will be no change because this is the original scaling of the HTML element. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page. So as you can see, when we get the cursor over here on the div element, there is no change right now, but the moment we increase this number, so let's say we increase it to 1.5 over here as the width and 1.5 as the height of the HTML element. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser, and when we get the cursor over here, as you can see, it has scaled to 1.5 times the width and the height of the original div tag that we had defined. So guys, in this way you can scale up the HTML element that you want to scale by using this particular CSS function. Guys, apart from this, you can also decrease the size as well. So any number lower than 1 in this case will decrease the size of the HTML element. So let's say we change the number to 0.8 over here as the width and height in this case. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page. So now if we get the cursor on this div tag, as you can see, it is decreasing the size and the width and height is decreasing over here. If you simply want to decrease the width, so what we can do is we need to keep the height as 0 in this case. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this. So guys, based on your project requirements, you can scale up or scale down the HTML elements by providing the units that you want to provide inside the CSS function, that is scale in this case. Guys, apart from this, we also have something called as scale X and scale Y, which will be scaling the width and height respectively for that particular HTML element. So guys, I'll leave this up to you as a homework for you so that you can practice on your own and understand these CSS functions more clearly. Guys, apart from this, we have something called as skew as well. So it skews an element. So basically it skews an element along the X and the Y axis by the given angles. So guys, let us check this as well. So over here what we have to do is, instead of the scale function, we will use the skew function this time, and let's say we provide 10 degrees as the X axis. First of all, let us check how the X axis skew will work. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So this is the original position of the div tag, and the moment we get the cursor, as you can see, it has changed its position. So this is the functionality of the skew function that we have provided, and the angle is 10 degrees over here by the X axis. And then guys, again, if we want the skew to be applied on the Y axis as well, simply we are going to say 20 degrees for the Y axis component over here. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. And when we get the cursor over here, as you can see, the X axis is having the skew of 10 degrees in this case, and the Y axis, as you can see, from this top left to the right over here, this particular direction, this is the skew of the Y axis in this case, and it is 20 degrees in terms of angle. So guys, in this way you can provide the skew CSS function based on your project requirement. Guys, apart from this, you have something called as skew X and skew Y as well, which will skew along the X axis and Y axis respectively, which we have already discussed with the help of this particular diagram previously. So this is the X axis in the horizontal direction, and this is the Y axis in the vertical direction as far as two-dimensional directions are concerned. Now guys, apart from this, we also have something called as matrix function, which will help us in order to provide the numbers for all the functions that we have seen so far. So guys, this is the sequence that you must follow. First of all, we can provide the scale X number that we want to mention based on the requirements, and then followed by skew Y, and then skew X, and then we have the scale Y, and then we have translate X followed by translate Y. So guys, let us check this example as well. So we have the example matrix function over here. So the first parameter is 1, which means the scale X will be 1 in this case. So basically it is not going to scale since we have provided one number over here. So simply we can increase the scale value to 1.2 this time, and then we have skew Y, which is negative number. Skew X will not be implemented since it is 0, and then again we have scale Y, which we should increase over here to 1.2 once again, and there is no translate X and translate Y since we have provided the numbers as 0 over here. So guys, let me just copy this line of code and paste it for this particular transform CSS property. So what will happen, let us check this as well. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. Notice that we have provided the scale X and scale Y values, and also the skew X is in negative direction over here. So when we get the cursor on this particular div tag, as you can see, the size of the div tag, that is a square box, is increasing, and the skew value of the negative 0.3 is helping us in order to tilt the square box in a particular direction over here. Guys, apart from this, we can also have the translate X and translate Y numbers as well. So what we will do is, let's say we provide 100 pixels over here as translate X and 100 pixels as translate Y. So basically the box should come somewhere over here on the bottom right. So let us check that as well. So when we reload this page and when we get the cursor over here, as you can see, the square box is coming down over here on the right hand side in this case. So guys, in this way you can provide the matrix CSS function in order to provide the multiple values for all the functions that we have discussed so far, which belongs to the transform CSS property. property. So guys, comment in the comment section below whether you have learned something out of this video. Please make sure that you like this video so that it reaches to more people, and subscribe to the channel so that you get the notifications on upcoming videos as well. The next video that we are going to talk about is 3D transform property in CSS. So stay tuned.